Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. Happy Sunday. In this video, I will be reviewing the new horror movie Late Night with the Devil, about a 1977 late night broadcast that goes horribly wrong. This is one of those movies where it does feel like they put a lot of care and attention to detail into this. And as someone who is a huge fan of the possession subgenre, which can get really redundant, I feel like Late Night with the Devil took a more unique approach, which I really appreciated. Now, the actual possession stuff in the movie is pretty standard, pretty run-of-the-mill stuff, but the idea of the late night show and everything with the premise, I thought that was a really different take. I'm not much of a fan of late night television of the 70s, so even though I thought it was a unique idea, I didn't enjoy that aspect very much. They did a great job recreating the 70s late night TV feel. It did feel really authentic in tone and style with the banter, the host, the band, the guy Gus, but I just don't get into that stuff. So there wasn't much appeal in feeling like I'm watching a late night show, and that is exactly what watching this movie feels like, which isn't a knock to the movie. Like I said, it's just my personal taste, but cool spin on the possession subgenre. Now, a big issue I had with Late Night with the Devil was the pacing. I personally don't enjoy movies very much that are just kind of slow paced and then they jam pack all of the action into the final third act, which is exactly what this movie does. Everything is just packed into like the last 10 minutes of the movie, and I think we could have added more horror before the big end with the little girl. I mean, the psychic who dies off camera, I don't know. I get it. If he died on air, there's likely no way they could have continued the show. But I just feel like just that, for example, and some other stuff, there was a way that they could have done, like some little stuff in there, as opposed to just a few lines of dialogue that he died off screen. I just wish there were more momentum in the first and second act of the film, because there's no real tension or build up. It's like no suspense. Instead, you're just waiting for the end. You're waiting to see what happens at the end. You're waiting to see how it ends. And the audience shouldn't necessarily just be waiting for something. You know what I mean? It also doesn't feel focused. I don't think we needed the extra with the dead wife and how she's used to get the host to kill the girl. I wasn't a fan of that. Having the cult and stuff, it just ends with too many loose ends and questions for me. The devil that possesses the little girl knows the host, but I'm confused. Like, why are we here? Why now? What's the aim? What's the point? What's the gain? Getting him to kill the little girl. Why did we spend so much time on the dead wife? My favorite performance was the possessed girl. The way she would say like the host's name, and she'd be like, "What camera do I look at?" There was like a real subtlety and creepy air to her from jump, which was really interesting. And I mean, all of the performances were good, but hers just was my favorite. Now, there are 3 AI images that are used in the movie for the cutaways during the late night show. And while I don't agree with using AI in film, I definitely I think the opportunity should have been given to artists, right? And while it is a very small part of the movie, like really minuscule part, and has no bearing whatsoever on the actual story or narrative or anything, remove the AI images and the movie really doesn't change. So to me, it's not the biggest deal. But in my humble opinion, I think it sets a terrible precedence. Like, stuff like this always starts small. They test the waters, see how the audience reacts, et cetera, et cetera. And the next time they take it even further. But I think the film and filmmakers should definitely be supported. I think this is worth the watch and one of the more original movies to come out so far this year. I will also say the AI images were an odd decision to me because the setup with the late night show felt so immersive and authentic, but then the AI cutaways completely take you out of that because the images are so terrible. Like they look like blatant AI images. The images aren't very good. So outside of any moral reasons, I just found the AI images to be a bad idea in general, artistically. And for me, I feel like anything that doesn't add to the movie and experience doesn't need to be included. Um, I also get that the possession and religious horror is very formulaic and oversaturated, so a lot of people are tired of it. But I think this is one that tries to do something different. I do feel like that movie, The Cleansing Hour, did a whole, the televised possession aim a lot better than this one. And now I'm not crazy about The Cleansing Hour, but the pacing was better. The concept was handled better, in my humble opinion. I also feel like when The Cleansing Hour ends, I was so blown away and shocked, and I was like, "Oh shoot!" Like it really ended on a high note. When Late Night with the Devil ends, I'm more like, oh, "Okay, that was nice." Like it just ends. Late Night with the Devil feels forgettable. It's enjoyable enough while you watch it, but it doesn't feel memorable. Cleansing Hour for me was memorable. I am giving Late Night with the Devil a solid 5 out of 10. It was an average movie with some good ideas. Oh, and I will also say when the skeptic tries to hand the devil girl that check instead of just like run, that could have worked for me if the movie ended there. I'm not a fan of how the movie ended, and that scene didn't work for me. The skeptic throughout the show is offering money to anybody who can like successfully convince him and prove that this stuff is real. So I get it, but it didn't work for me because I'm like, baby, why is you playing this game? Like, run for your life. I didn't understand trying to hand this thing a check. Like, I don't know. But I feel like if the movie would have ended there, that would have worked better for me. But I love the possession subgenre, religious horror, because like I ain't playing with no spirits, no demons, no devils. Like I like watching horror that kind of feel a little real. You know what I mean? So that's why I really love the subgenre. I don't care how generic like the movies they turn out get. I just really like it. But I would like to see more unique ideas with that premise, kind of like this one. And I don't think the only movies I know of that have done the televised possession is this and The Cleansing Hour, unless I'm missing something. I don't necessarily really like that idea, honestly. Like I didn't care for the idea with The Cleansing Hour. I didn't care for the idea here. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the televised possession thing. And I also feel like what didn't work here for me as well is the fact that this is kind of technically found footage. We're watching the recording of this, right? But in order for it to truly be found footage and we're truly just watching the recording, we shouldn't be getting the in between moments backstage. If you're filming a late night television show, the camera stopped rolling, we would not be getting the backstage stuff. So I feel like they should have chosen which way they wanted to go, because going with the whole we're watching, that didn't make any sense because we shouldn't be able to see the stuff that's happening backstage. Like, am I crazy? I just feel like that doesn't really make any sense. Um, so maybe that's nitpicky, but I do feel like that was a sore thumb. Every time they would cut to that, I would just be like, wait a minute, this don't make no sense. This is technically like found footage and we're watching the recording. How can we see what's happening backstage? They're not recording that. It's not any logic. But hey, like I said, maybe that is nitpicky. But I definitely would watch something from these filmmakers again. I liked all the actors, I liked the performances. Um Did I give this a rating? I can't remember. If I didn't say it, I would give this a solid 5 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10 or a 4.5 out of 10, somewhere in that range. I think it's an average movie, an average enjoyable enough way to kill time. I don't think it's anything spectacular. I don't think it's terrible. Average movie. The whole televised possession and the whole 70s late night, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for me. But again, not a knock to the film. I obviously knew that was the setup. And that's just my personal taste. It just didn't work. But I'm excited for what else we have coming in horror for the rest of this year. I'm excited for you know what? I'm talking about horror, but you know what's really at the forefront of my mind is a new Bad Boys movie. They have been advertising the hell out of that new Bad Boys movie. I've been seeing Will and Martin everywhere. I'm like, okay, y'all got a little budget to promote this because it's everywhere. But let me know in the comments, how did you feel about Late Night with the Devil? I think that is just, all my thoughts. And I should have did this video because I actually watched Late Night with the Devil in like April, but I'm just not talking about it because I did have a live already scheduled to talk about this way back when, but I just never got around to it. Y'all know how it be. So if I ever had any more thoughts, I don't remember them because I saw this movie quite a while ago. But that's pretty much the gist of it, though. I mean, look, good idea, unique spin, good performances. I wasn't particularly blown away, but it was fine enough. It was worth the watch. Definitely worth the watch. And I want to see more possession. You know what? Russell Crowe has a possession movie coming out, and I like that last possession movie he did. They gave him this weird like Italian accent, I think it was, that kind of didn't work for me. But I actually liked the movie. And I thought the little boy did a good behind performance. I like seeing a possessed kid. It's something about a possessed kid that really works for me. But I would like, I guess not. He killed the girl at the end. I was gonna say I would like a sequel to this because I want to see that creepy little girl come back. But can she come back? I mean, it's the devil. I mean, look, it's possession. They can always come back. So bring the creepy little girl back. Bring back the creepy little girl. And oh no, that won't work. Okay, I'm kind of just like thinking in the moment because I'm like, well, wait, he killed that girl. I'm guessing he gonna have to go to jail. And that's something else that don't work for me. Am I just dense? He's a part of this cult, sacrifice the wife for fame or whatever. Why did we set him up to kill this little girl? Ain't he finna go to jail? What was the point of making my deal with the devil and trying to get my success? I mean, we got peak, on this episode of my show, but now I gotta get hauled off the jail. Maybe even a death penalty, depending on the state. I don't know. Am I dense or am I not remembering something? I'm not understanding the setup to have him kill the little girl. What's the gain out of that? I don't know. And I'm not even clear on whatever deal he made with the devil. Like, we know he made a deal for the fame and stuff for his show, sacrificing his wife, killing her. But what was the deal exactly? You know how, like, you got to sell your soul? Like, what's the deal? Because why is he now going to jail? Why did we have him kill the girl? Now, if the girl would have killed him, it would have made sense for me. Like, oh, okay, you coming to collect your debt. Y'all made this little deal. Now you got to come collect his soul. But the fact that he killed the girl, that's not working for me. That's not working for me. But hey, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just dense. Maybe I just don't get it. But that whole little part, I just didn't get it. But thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for supporting the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.